now invite Mr. Kevin Rushing, USAID Mission Director of Nepal, to deliver the guest address for this inauguration today.
Good morning, everyone, and namaste. On behalf of the United States Agency for International Development, I'm pleased to be here today at the opening of this international symposium. The work you are all doing to bridge the gaps in data related to Earth observations and climate change is very important. USAID programs in more than 100 countries around the world, working across multiple sectors to achieve sustainable development. Global climate change is affecting many of the programs and countries as we've invested in as an agency. Nepal, where I am based, is vulnerable to the effects of climate change. The melting of the Himalayan glaciers could affect the water supply of approximately 1.3 billion people relying on them. The impact on agriculture, biodiversity, and health could also be severe. Throughout Nepal, weather patterns are changing, insects, pests, and diseases are spreading their reach into new areas. At an agency level, we are integrating climate change considerations into our development programming. Under a presidential global climate change initiative, we are focusing on sustainable landscapes, clean energy, and adaptation. In Nepal, USAID has a long history of environmental programs, like our work to establish the community forest user groups to support environmental governance, conserve biodiversity, and promote sustainable livelihoods. USAID projects have improved the livelihoods and immediate environment of many Nepalese, enabling them to be more resilient and better prepared to adapt to climate change stresses. But as environmental conditions change at the subnational and regional levels in Nepal and surrounding countries, we need good data, not only about what is happening, but also about where it's happening. Geospatial information can help transform our understanding of the locations and the interactions of poverty, disease, conflict, biodiversity conservation, climate change, food insecurity, access to natural resources, schools, clinics, and more. If we combine this kind of spatial data with the information about development projects and their locations, it can help the development community strategically plan future interventions, identify their impact, and better explain results. The work that USAID does is inherently spatial, but at the agency level, we are only just beginning to improve our internal ability to use geospatial information for strategic planning and monitoring our programs. We need Earth observation information as well as geographic data layers to make maps that will help us see the big picture and track changes over time. In Nepal, we are one of the few USAID missions in the world that have invested in a full-time GIS specialist. Using GIS, we've been able to produce maps identifying areas affected by the 2007 and 2008 floods, including villages, districts, and camps for internally displaced people. The analysis of the size and scale of the problem helped us design our flood recovery program. We also use GIS to help determine where to initiate new activities. For example, we have combined layers of data to make maps that show us locations of large ethnic and religious groups, poor economic opportunity, high probability of conflict, and existing USAID or donor activities. We use GIS data to help us plan our new environment program, which will focus on biodiversity conservation, sustainable landscapes, and adaptation to climate change. This kind of spatial analysis can transform the way we think about development planning. The better quality and quantity of data we have about where the roads, schools, clinics, populations, and natural resources are, the more effective our programs can actually be to improve people's lives. In addition to being a tool for strategic planning and communication, this kind of GIS capability within USAID has the potential to support efforts to monitor and evaluate our programs. Already, we recognize that we need better baseline data against which is to measure progress. The Severe system, which is a web-based Earth observation, monitoring, and visualization platform, stands to make a significant impact in the region with respect to baseline data. The platform integrates satellite observations and predictive models with other geographic information. Its purpose is to improve environmental management and response to natural disasters by making available previously inaccessible satellite data, map products, forecast models, and geospatial applications that are shared with regional decision makers. As a development agency, we have partnered with NASA to build this platform, and we will formally inaugurate Severe Himalaya tomorrow with the NASA administrator and USAID colleagues coming from our Washington, D.C. headquarters. Later this morning, you will learn about details of Severe from NASA's Dan Irwin. In the meantime, I want to thank you for your important contribution toward enhancing the scientific knowledge and data assets available to address environmental programs, as we research results as if there were no sectoral, disciplinary, or national boundaries between us. We cannot hope to devise effective coping strategies together if we are not communicating geographically with the most relevant information about the changing conditions of our planet. Thank you, and I wish you all a very successful symposium.